The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Friday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. As always, brought to you proudly by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. You can find them in the top right-hand corner of the screen right there. If you're in the market for a newer used vehicle, there's no one better to go to than Greenwood Chevy. It's that simple. There's just no one better. Cut it off at that point. Boom. You're not going to find anyone that goes the extra mile for you better than Greenwood Chevrolet. We try to follow their lead here on Running Point since they are the sponsor of the show, and we keep going the extra mile for you. One of the ways we do that here on the show is that we play player profiles for you and coaches' corners and highlight the great people that we have in the YSN family. And got one for you today. Dom Cruz, senior shooter, driver, everything you want from Canfield. He's got it, number 0. And because he says there are 0 excuses to be great. It's a great always. As always, we're going to have recaps. We're going to have previews as well. It's going to be a great day. TGIF, right? We're hopping into the weekend, second full week of January as we go into about the halfway point of basketball. You know, most girls' teams are at 11 to 14. That's right around the halfway point. Some of them pass halfway. And boys are right behind them, about 2 or 3 games behind them. So we are, right in the smack middle of basketball season. As we truck forward, we start talking about tournament time. We start talking about who's going to make runs. This is when you make those last adjustments, right? We have less than 2 months, really, when you think about it, for the start of the district tournament for girls basketball. The regionals are in 2 months, less than 2 months, I should say. And the state tournament for girls basketball will be 2 months away this weekend. So it's not that far off, guys. It's not that far off. February is going to fly by. It's the shortest month of the year. Even on this leap year, it's still shortest month. And we're going to gear up for it on Running Point. We're going to really make this last push of basketball great. And we're going to have a lot of coverage and a lot of player profiles, a lot of coaches' corners played for you in the next couple of weeks. Let's get into the recap section of the show. Hop on to the scoreboard on ysnlive.com. Let's bring it up full screen for you so you can see what I'm looking at. This scoreboard is proudly presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. It's a great tool for the fans, whether you're at one of our games or you're watching one of our broadcasts, maybe both, hopefully both. That would be really cool. You're at a gym, you pop up the iPad, pop up the iPhone, check in on our broadcast too. Either way, you don't want to look away from that for too long. And the YSN scoreboard is a great and easy way to find live updated scores of your favorite teams, whether it be your rival, your friends, whatever it may be. We have a team behind the scenes that works very diligently to make sure these scores on the scoreboard are as live updated as possible. We also have great announcers that do their job and report the scores in as the game's going on. So you don't have to wait until midnight for the final scores to come in. you can see them live updated on the scoreboard. Let's look into last night. What went down in girls basketball? It was girls' night on Thursday. We'll start in the NE8, a close one in Hubbard as the Eagles pull off the narrow victory over Lakeview, 41-38. Big win for Hubbard as they try to gain as many as possible. They're right in the middle of the pack of that NE8. They want to gain confidence as they head into the district tournament. Really impressed with Hubbard in the times that I've been able to see them, and I'm really happy they're starting to get results. They work so hard. Like I don't think there's any team out there that can say they outwork or they out hustle Hubbard. When I saw them live, the handful of times I've been able to see them, first game of the year actually, I got to see them against Springfield, and they gave Springfield a run for their money. But they just go after everything. Like the problems they have and the issues they have and things that hold them back from winning definitely are not effort. They are a team that buys in. They have great leadership. I think they're a team that just, you know, needs to find that just winning culture, and they've had it before. They'll get it again. But effort is definitely not an issue in Hubbard, and I'm happy to see them get a victory last night. I think it was one like I said, when you're not getting all the results you want, when you get wins and prove to yourself that the process is working, that pays dividends for you down the road. It's a Hubbard team that's going to have a lot of these girls back next year. And when they do, they're going to learn like, hey, our process is working. What we're doing is working. We're getting the results. So Hubbard gets the 3-point victory over Lakeview. Congratulations to the Eagles. Champion keeps pace in the MVAC. They're just one game back. They take care of Brookfield, 51-26. Final score of that game. You look at this score, and I'm going to do the math real quick because I want to know. 51 points for Champion, but they hit 42 of their 51 points for Champion came from beyond the arc. They had 14 threes as a team. They are a shooting team. We've said this all year. Champion can shoot the lights out. That's what their bread and butter is. Kayla Haney hit 5 threes. She led with 17. Bella Meyer hit 4 threes. She had 16. Kennedy Caldwell also hit 4 threes. She had 14. And then Addie Warzala, she hit a 3 as well. Warzala hit a 3 as well. So you have 14 threes as a team. All but 9 points, 9 of your points come from beyond the arc. That just exemplifies Champion season and what Champion is so good at. They are a team that can shoot the lights out, and it's not just one person. Like I said, 3 people at excuse me, I'm sorry. Three people had a combined 13 threes. So there's something when they get rolling. When you get their shooter space, there's something else to watch. So Champion keeps pace. They're right there, one game back. They have a big matchup with LeBray coming up. I think that's the next league matchup. A week from Monday. No, I think they'll have one in between there next week. But a week from Monday against LeBray. Champion and LeBray route in 2. That'll be in Champion this time around. Champion got the win in LeBray earlier this season in a very close matchup. Springfield takes care of Jackson Milton. 50-24. Final score there. LeBray gets back on track as they beat Garrettsville Garfield by the final score of 63-39. We saw Newton Falls. They were able to beat Camel 53-23. Final score there. Middle Ridge, big win over Sebring. They have 12 now on the season. 63-19. Final score. I was at the Poland Struthers games. We're going to talk about it a little bit after we get through the scoreboard. But Poland did win 51-43. Crestview, they are still dominant as ever. 67-36. They beat Liberty 15-0 are the Rebels. Lowville gets a close win over McDonald 50-40. It was back and forth all game. Last push by the Rockets to get that 10-point victory. Cardinal Mooney with a statement win over Cheney. Remember, the Cardinals lost the first matchup by 2. Different story this time around. 54-19. Cardinal Mooney destroys Cheney in this game. 48-45, Mohawk falls in a tough one to Neshannock. We saw Girard, no trouble at all with Niles. They win 71-36. Big one next for the Indians against South Range. We'll talk about that in a bit as well. United gets the win over Valley Christian, 64-7. Wellsville beats Latonia, 46-17. Edison is able to get the win over Weirton Madonna, 56-44. The final score there. Lisbon falls to East Palestine, 38-29 final. Columbiana makes it a two-horse race in the EOAC for now as they beat Southern Local 35-26. Now, of course, Southern's hope at this point is that the same thing that happened in the first half of the EOAC happens again. They're hoping, obviously, that United beats Columbiana, and then they'll have another crack at United. So if that all happens, it might be a three-way logjam in the EOAC. But for now, it's a two-way tie in the top of the conferences. United and Crest, United and Columbiana, have one loss apiece. Beaver Local falls to Indian Creek, 63-16. And last but not least, Crestwood gets beat by Grand Valley, 40-36. This is a big win for the Mustangs. Crestwood having a resurgent year this year. They had really tough years in the last couple, but so far this season, 5-0 in their conference. They're starting to really put things together. They have depth. So this is a really nice win for the Mustangs. I don't want that to be underscored because I know Crestwood, not a YSN school. Maybe our fans don't know as much about their program, but Crestwood having a very good year, a resurgent year for a program that's been down for a while. And that's a big win for Grand Valley to protect their home floor, a close victory, 40-36. They play good defense in Crestwood. They have depth. They have plenty of people that can score, so to hold them to 36 points, very impressive for the Mustangs. Maybe the biggest win of the year for Grand Valley. You could argue that. Now that we've gone over the scores, let's talk about some of these matchups a little bit and talk about some of the players that shine. We'll start with the game that I was at, Poland against Struthers, and I'll tell you what, these Wildcats, they're 2-10, but they might be like the best 2-10 team I've ever seen because it's not your typical show up, get beat up, go on, get on the bus, have dinner, and then call it a night kind of game. I mean, almost every game that Struthers loses has been really close. They've been right there. They're not a team that's getting blown out of the water. They're not a team that's uncompetitive, and they proved it. They came into Poland. And remember, Poland is the league leaders. To just set the stage, Poland leads the NE8. They have never lost a league game at home. Never. 6 years in the NE8. However, you could count up the home games. For that, you get what? And until this year, you got 14 games in the conference. So 7 of them would be home. 7 times 6. That's 42. So 42 home games coming into this year. Now you get 6 because there's one less team in the NE8. So you get 6. So if they end this year undefeated at home, that's 48 straight home victories in the NE8 for Poland. But the point is, it's hard to come in as the league opponent and beat Poland in Poland. Hard is an understatement because it hasn't been done yet. So Struthers comes in, no wins in the conference, and they start out the tone great. They are leading the whole first quarter almost. They have an 11-6 lead. Everything's looking good. Poland goes on a huge run from the end of the first quarter into the deep half of the second quarter. I think it ended up being a 22-0 run, if I'm not mistaken. It was massive. Like they went from down 6 to 11-6 to up like 28-11. Now Struthers came back from that. They pushed it to a 9-point halftime lead. So 9-point halftime deficit for Struthers. And then the rest of that second half, it kind of stayed there. Struthers kept kind of pushing, and then Poland would push back. Then Struthers would push back, and then Poland just couldn't pull away. And that was when Struthers made their last move. In the fourth quarter, they had a couple of turnovers forced. They got a couple of easy buckets. Ava Croyle hit a big three. All of a sudden, the Wildcats are down by 4, and you're thinking, uh-oh, this is danger time. The pressure's on Poland now because you have everything to lose. You are by far the favorite in this game. You've never lost a league game at home. You're already one loss in the conference. You can't afford two. You have South Range and Girard both on your heels in the standings. I bet there was some sweating going on inside those huddles. Coach Blanche might not admit it, but I bet his coaching staff was feeling the heartbeat a little bit. He'd never show it because that's what great leaders do. But there was some nervousness, I think, in the crowd, in the team, in the bench, in the coaching staff. Like they were starting to think like this is not good. We're down. We're up by 4 when we were up by 12, no 17 at one point in the second quarter. So Struthers cuts it to 4. And one of the things that makes Poland so tough and always has made Poland so tough is every year they have that one player that can decide to make plays. And do they have the offensive depth they've had in the past this year? No, they don't. That's apparent. They just don't. They don't have the multiple scorers that can go off consistently and go score you, 10 points a game every night. Their confidence isn't there yet for that point. But they do have their leader that can go off and just say, I'm going to take over the game. And that's Mary Brandt. So Mary Brandt comes down, drains a 3, and then Avery Yakubova comes up the next time, hits 3 herself. Back-to-back threes for Poland turned into a 10-point game. Kind of ice it, and what a big moment for Poland because they were on the doorstep of getting upset, and they're big players and came up with big plays. And I think Mary Brandt's 3 was the biggest because it just kind of it was a deep breath, right? That you couldn't see me. I'm not on full screen, but I took a deep breath. It was a deep breath, right? It was a deep breath for Poland just to say, hey, calm down a little bit. We're going to make our plays. It took it from a 4-point game back up to 7. So anytime you're just above that 2-possession lead, 7 and more, you just feel a little bit more comfortable. So it gave them a 3-possession lead and let everyone kind of take a deep breath. Next possession, they get a stop. Next possession, the young Avery Yakubovic just comes up and says, I can do it too. Drains a 3 herself. Poland's up 10 with like under 2 to go. At that point, pretty much game over, and they win by 8. So Poland pulls out the victory, 51-43. But I was very impressed with Struthers, especially playing this hard without Caitlin Kemble, who is probably, don't want to speculate, don't know what her exact prognosis is, but I'm expecting out for the season with an ACL. That's tough to see. Caitlin Kimball and Emma Morris were kind of the 1-2 punch for Struthers, and now other people are trying to learn how to step up. And last night, really, it was Gianna Martin doing a really good job stepping up for Struthers. I really liked watching her play. I think if she doesn't get into foul trouble in the second quarter, that was a big difference. That's why Poland went on that big run. Gianna Martin picked up her 3rd foul, had to be out for almost the whole second quarter. Poland makes a big run. And then she's back in the game, and Struthers gets back in it. They cut it to 4. That's a freshman making a couple of tiny mistakes on defense to get some fouls. But other than that, I mean, man, if she's on the floor for that whole game, you don't know how that goes. If Mary Brandt doesn't knock down that 3, you don't know how that goes either. I mean, Struthers was a very, very impressive team last night. For their record, they're buying into what they're selling, and they keep working. They keep working hard. They have Cheney coming into the field house on Saturday. That'll be fun. Poland has a week off. They're going to play Girard on Thursday. Now, how big that game is depends very greatly on what we see tomorrow afternoon in South Range. Girard with 1 loss in the conference. They're tied with Poland right now in the top. South Range with 2 losses in the conference. So the Raiders, they flat out need a victory, right, to have any chance. Girard trying to stay in first place. And then if Girard wins the game, obviously that game on Thursday will pretty much be for first place in the 88. And if Girard loses, man, then Poland could put a lot of separation between them and Girard and only have to deal with South Range the next time up. So either way that game goes, big game on Thursday, I think. But it's really huge if Girard wins in the Thriller Dome tomorrow. Then it's first place on the line. That's it. It's like one loss. The next team is 3 losses. So unless someone else outside of South Range and Gerard knocks off Poland, which we saw is possible with Struthers. I mean, they gave Poland a heck of a fight. But unless someone outside of Gerard knocks off Poland or South Range knocks off Poland, if the Raiders lose, 3 losses kind of puts you in a bad spot for the league. And then obviously if Gerard goes and doesn't beat Poland then the second time up, they would be 1 game back and they wouldn't control their own destiny either. So that becomes a really big game. Especially if Gerard wins on Thursday. If Gerard loses on Thursday, it's a bigger game, but on Gerard's side, right? So if Gerard loses tomorrow, I said Thursday, but if Gerard loses tomorrow, they're going to go into Thursday with 2 league losses, which puts them in the same boat that South Range is in tomorrow, really, where Gerard can't afford a loss. You can't get 2 games back at this point in the conference. So if Gerard loses Gerard loses tomorrow, Thursday becomes a really big game on their side, especially. If they win tomorrow, it's a huge game on both sides. It's huge on both sides because it's really first place on the line on Thursday. That game's going to be in Gerard. Caveat or a little piece of nugget here. Last time Poland played at Gerard was last year. Gerard beat them in Gerard. So that'll be on the Poland Bulldogs' mind as well, losing in Gerard last season. I'm loving this MVAC. I mean, it's coming down to the wire as we talk about more of these scores from last night. Crestview looks dominant. Champion has beaten everybody except Crestview in the league. And Crestview was a game where it was competitive. It was competitive almost the whole time. Crestview won by 8. By far the closest league game that Crestview's had. So when you look at it and you think of how this is going to go, I can't wait for the second matchup between these two. It's still a couple of weeks away. I think it's after the LeBray game at least. So LeBray's next Monday, not like this Monday, next Monday. That's how I say it. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, this is how my brain works. This is what you're getting. I'm gonna take off the score. This is how my brain works. So this is what you're getting on Running Point today. We're getting a deep dive into Anthony's mind, right? So when I say next Monday, some people think next Monday means literally the next Monday on the calendar, which would be, in a couple of days, right? But I call that this Monday, right? Where do you stand on that? Let me know. Hit me up in the comments. Hit me up on social media where you stand on this versus next. Is next Monday to you the very next Monday on the calendar? So would you call Monday what date is that? The 15th? Do you call that next Monday? Or do you call that this Monday? Because this is an argument I've had in my household a lot. I'll be like, hey, when's such and such? Oh, it's next Monday. And then I'm thinking, okay, it's in a week. It's the next Monday. And they just meant it's the next Monday on the calendar. And it's just like, does not compute to my brain. My brain calls that this Monday, this Monday, this Tuesday, this. I know that's way off the rails. That's way off track for what we're talking about. Nothing to do with sports at all. But my brain just had to get that out. Like this Monday, next Monday. So LeBray and Crestview is, in my definition, next Monday. LeBray and Champion, next Monday. This Monday, no. Next Monday, yes. Oh, man. On that note, we're going to take a commercial break. We are going to have on the other end of that commercial break a player profile featured from Mr. Dom Cruz from Canfield. Don't go anywhere. Running Point always brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Back in a bit.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication. passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Sheely's is more than a furniture store. We're a hub for all of your appliance needs. We offer the widest selection at everyday low prices, with over $1 million of in-stock inventory from Whirlpool, KitchenAid, LG, GE, and more. Our knowledgeable, no-pressure sales staff can help you find the perfect appliances for your home. We're there for you beyond your purchase to service what we sell and offer free local delivery with 24-month special financing. Sheely's, the best things in life happen at home.
House troubles can attack anytime. When trouble strikes, call Mighty Mike. Your hometown hero is on his way. HVAC causing havoc? Has your furnace gone mad? Mighty Mike Heating and Cooling will save the day. Commercial or residential, 24/7. For quality service you can depend on, call your hometown hero. Call Mighty Mike.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa.
And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing.
Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships.
We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team.
Your goals, our game plan.
Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our Valley's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
And welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you as always by our good friends up there at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to. And one of the ways we follow their lead is our player profiles that we try to feature every day here on the show. We have a great one for you today. It is from Canfield, and it is time to cue the Mission Impossible theme, right? Because it's Dom Cruise. Not Tom Cruise, Dom Cruise. Better action hero than your favorite action star. Number 0 from Canfield. Dom Cruise, what a great interview. And here it is for your enjoyment pleasure. Anthony Hartwig here with a Canfield boys basketball player profile. First one of the year. Senior Dom Cruise joining us here. Thank you so much, Dom, for the time.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's talk about being a senior, what it's meant to you so far this year to come out and know that everything you're doing and you got to cherish it. It's your last go around with this Canfield team. What's that been like for you mentally?
I played basketball my entire life. It's a very young age. So, I've never really played any other sports. And, knowing it's my senior year, just trying to have fun this year, especially go, far in the playoffs. And especially this team. This team means a lot to me. These are my best friends and, just trying to run it out one last time.
Couldn't ask for a better start. I mean, you've already broken some records this year. You're averaging a huge amount of points per game. What's it been like for you? Do you think being a senior has locked you in mentally?
Yeah, for sure. Maybe in the past couple of years, I've been a little passive, not as aggressive on offense or on defense. But this year, knowing it's my last year, definitely locked in this year.
Let's talk about the way this season has gone. Obviously, not the way you want to start two losses in a row, and then you guys regroup like anything else. And now you're on an 8-game winning streak, and all of a sudden you're one of the top teams in the area when it comes to record and it comes to rankings. What was the talks after that first 2 games to really get everybody together, everybody on the same page, and what was the turnaround factor?
Especially after those 2 losses, practices picked up a lot. A lot of guys got in the gym, getting up extra shots before practice, even after practice, and you can see that in the points we were scoring. A lot of guys scoring a lot more points now, playing a lot more defense, and we're a lot more of a well-rounded team than we were in the beginning.
You're not the only leader on the team. I mean, this team is full of just guys that know what they're doing and know how to lead young men that are on the team below them. How much of a blessing is it for you to be a part of a group that knows how to lead and you don't have all the leadership responsibilities on your shoulder?
Last year, pretty much for our entire team, besides me and a couple other guys, it was their first year playing varsity, and it was kind of a shock to them. But this year, a lot of guys got in the gym over the summer. Guys still get in the gym, and a lot of guys just know a lot about the game. And we're a very smart team of players, and it's nice.
Was that a conversation in the summer and the preseason? Like, hey, this isn't new to us anymore. No more excuses about being young. This is a team that has varsity experience now, and there's really no reason for us not to go out there and succeed.
Definitely. Being a lot more of an experienced team means you're allowed to, expand a little more on the offense, have a little more freedom. And that's how you see a lot of guys playing a lot more free this year.
You're coached by one of the absolute legends in the area. I mean, what can you say about John Cullen? They named the court after him. That's how strong he is in the Canfield community.
Yeah.
500 career wins. There's probably going to be a statue of him outside of Canfield at some point. What's it like to see a guy like that come back to Canfield and want to end his coaching career, where he started it and to care so much about this program?
It was great for the team. A lot of that really is what upped a lot of our knowledge of the game. He knows, he knows everything about the game down to angles, numbers, and he really taught us a lot of stuff like even we didn't know. And so that's helped our game a lot.
We're talking so much about how much you guys are scoring, and obviously there's a lot of offensive success right now in Canfield. But if you know anything about John Cullen, defense is first with him, and you're always going to be a defensive team. How much pride do you guys take in your defense?
That's the majority of our practices, is defensive drills, defensive breakdown. Usually after every possession, we're taking a stop and making sure we're doing everything right. Usually there's something we did wrong. So, we've gotten a lot better on that end.
People think with the way you're shooting that you're probably spending most time in practice shooting, but that's not the case. Like you said, John Cullen loves the defensive practice. So when do you guys get the time to get those shots up and to lock down like you do and to be such a good shooting team? Where does that come from?
Before games, before practices, after practices, me and a couple guys will always stay after. We'll get on the gun, shoot for about an hour or so, especially before games. And we're getting there about 3 hours before even our JV game to get some shots up. And, that's increased our percentage a lot this year.
When you think about your career and you think about, little freshman Dom Cruz and the way you've grown to now you're being a senior, what are some of the biggest changes you've seen throughout your senior career in your game?
The first 3 years of high school, I was really just categorized as a shooter, which, I definitely still like to shoot, but this year I've really expanded my game to, a little more defense, definitely a little more in the paint. I've been driving a lot lately, and I've really just well-rounded my game a lot more this year.
One of the few players that likes to wear that number 0. Is there a story behind the number? Is there something that makes you want to pick that one? Is there a story behind it?
My whole life, my dad's taught me that, no matter what has come across your path, there's 0 excuses. Everybody has, something to deal with, and you just got to push through it. So, yeah.
This is a personal question, but how much do you get the comparison to Tom Cruise? Because name's so close. Action star, you're having such a good season. I've already made the joke a couple of times on broadcast. You have to hear it all the time too.
You know, a lot of people actually think my name is Tom Cruise sometimes because when you say Dom Cruise, sometimes you hear the T, and you know, I'll get that a lot. So, yeah.
When you think about action stars, I don't think there's too many people that you want to be compared to more than the
Yeah.
guy that does almost all of his own stunts. Do you
Yep.
think if you were in an action movie, how many of your own stunts do you think you could do?
Honestly, probably not many. I give a lot. I give a lot of props to that. That's pretty hard to do.
Dom's like, I can shoot a ball, but don't ask me to jump out of a window anytime soon.
No.
So let's talk about just things you're going to reflect on, things you're proud about. You know, you're going through your senior year. You're going to have senior night. It's when you can get really reflective on your whole career. What are some things that you've accomplished that you're really proud about so far in your Canfield career?
You know, obviously, I just broke the single game 3-point record. That's definitely probably the thing I'm most proud of. Let me see. I just tied the all-time record this last game, so I'm excited to, you know, beat that. Look for a lot of hopefully this year we make it pretty far in the playoffs. You know, last year was our first league championship in I think like 10 years, and we haven't won districts in over 20. So to win districts this year would be huge for us.
For people that don't know, he also broke that 3-point record in one half of basketball. So just imagine what you could have done with 4 quarters. Whew.
Yeah.
When you do something like that, when you have a game like that, and you've had a couple of them where your shots are just falling and you know it early, what's that like for you to just know, like, this is my night, things are going well, my form is looking good? What's that like for you?
You know, usually, you know, couple early times in the game, I try to get maybe some layups to, you know, get my shot going. But I mean, if the time comes where my first shot's a 3, and usually if that first 3 goes in, I know I'm locked in for the rest of the night.
This AAC that you play in, it's a grind. We just learned that Friday you had to hold off Austin Town Fitch, 51-48. You know, this AAC is not going to get any easier. What's it like going through a conference that is just a gauntlet every night? It's a small conference, but every game means that much more.
Yeah, you know, especially with a small amount of teams, you know, there's only so many games. So, you know, we really place a lot of value on winning those conference games. And, you know, knowing if you lose one, you know, that can mean a serious dip in your spot.
Is there any team, it could be a conference team, it could be maybe just a local team that you guys play every year outside of Poland? We're going to take Poland, the 224 battle, out of the equation because that's an easy answer. But is there any other team that you kind of get a little bit more amped up for, that you circle on the schedule and you just, whether it's because they're so competitive or there's a guy on that team that you love going up against, is there one that you circle a little bit more than the others?
You know, I mean, I would definitely say Fitch. You know, Fitch is always a pretty heated matchup for us every year. But especially this year, I know in February, I believe we play Warren JFK. And, you know, I know a lot of those guys on the team. We all know a lot of those guys on that team, and they're pretty good this year. So we're all pretty hyped up for that game.
Yeah, one of the things we learn about basketball of late with the growth of AAU is you get to learn a lot about the players that are outside of Canfield, and you get to play with and against so many players in the off season. What's that like for you to have such a big, strong basketball community? And obviously you love Canfield, and it's Canfield first, but when you're playing these teams, you know a lot of these guys, you're friends with a lot of these guys, you know what their game's about. What's that been like for you?
You know, I mean, it's great to know a lot of guys from a lot of schools, but at the end of the day, you know, once you get on the basketball court, you know, you're no longer friends. And it's just great competing with those guys. So
when you're playing someone that you know pretty well and you're friends with, does the competitiveness get a little bit amped up because it's like, hey, bragging rights on the line here?
Oh, for sure. You know, especially when you're assigned to guard them, that's probably the best. So
let's talk about future plans. Obviously, you're a senior, so we're going to have to say goodbye to you after the season. We don't like it, but it's reality. So what are some of your future plans? What's going to be going on with Dom Cruise after you graduate high school?
You know, I definitely plan on playing college basketball. That's been something I always wanted to do, and that's what I'm on track to do right now. So don't really know where yet, but that's definitely the plan.
So since the decision hasn't been made yet, what I'm going to ask you is, when you're looking at coaches, looking at programs, looking at campuses, what kind of things are you looking for? Like, what kind of thing would make you feel at home in a program and you make that decision that you would want to be there?
You know, definitely as a coach, you know, being able to be good friends with the coach, having a good connection, you know, knowing that coach is going to push me to be the best player I can be is definitely something I look for. Program wise, definitely looking for a nice fit. You know, knowing where my game is going to make an impact on the team. That's something I definitely value probably the most. And teammates, definitely getting along with your teammates, having a good relationship with those guys. That's something I definitely look for as well.
Are you looking to travel a little bit, or do you want to stay closer to home if you can?
I've been juggling that a lot. I definitely like to stay closer to home. I value my family a lot, so I'd like to stay around here if possible.
If you go somewhere where you have to leave home and you have to go in and live on your own for a little bit in college, what's going to be a life skill that you're really nervous about having to, learn for yourself when you're not in the home anymore?
Probably cooking on my own. I got to learn about a lot of things to cook. So, yeah.
Everyone has that one home cooked meal that they have to learn before they leave the nest. What's the one home cooked meal that your family has that you got to make sure that you know how to make when you're not at home anymore?
My family's Hispanic, and we make these things called pastelillos. It's like a fried dough with meat and veggies inside. I definitely want to learn how to make that before I leave.
What is your favorite meal to celebrate a big win? Post-game meal, what are you going for?
Chipotle. I eat Chipotle probably 4 to 5 times a week. It's my favorite meal.
Is it the same order every time, or is the menu good enough for you that you can have multiple menu items?
No, I get the exact same order every time.
All right, we have to hear it. What's the Dom Cruz order at Chipotle?
All right, it's pretty simple. I get 4 soft tacos with white rice and chicken and the hot salsa, and then
is that
rice.
Winner leaves regardless? That's your post game meal?
Yeah.
Or is Chipotle only for winners?
No, Chipotle's for winners and losers.
Let's talk about some of the things that you do outside of basketball to kind of keep your mind out of the sport. Give yourself a little bit of a break when you need it. What are some of your hobbies outside of the sport?
Obviously kind of relates to sport, but lifting. I love lifting. I lift probably 4 to 5 days a week still. I just like to work out. Maybe running, maybe lifting weights, but all of that is definitely most of my day. I have school takes up a lot of my time. I have AP Calc right now. That takes up almost all my extra time. So
AP Calc, good on you, because that would not be me at all. Is that kind of like is you more of a math person in school? Is that one of your favorite subjects?
Yeah, that's definitely probably my favorite subject. And AP Calc is all year. It's a long class, a lot of homework. So
when you're going through a class like that, obviously getting through it is tough. How much of a kind of proud achievement is it for you to, be able to work through a class like that and do basketball and juggle still being a kid? You got to be just proud that you're able to get through all that.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to juggle doing the fun stuff and doing school and basketball at the same time. But, especially on the weekends, I kind of have to lock in with school and stuff. Every couple Sundays when I have a test, I'll spend 5-6 hours studying in a row. So sometimes you do have to give up hanging out with friends for a night to make sure you get a good grade on the test. So.
Hey, there's sacrifices to greatness, man. That's the key. Yep. Before we let you go, Dom, I want to give you the chance to kind of thank your support system, all the people that have been there for you over the years. I want to give you the chance to shine a light on them and give as many shout outs as you want.
Yeah. First and foremost, definitely my family. They've poured everything into me my entire life. They've invested a lot of money into me, a lot of time. They're definitely the reason I've been here. My dad's trained me my whole life, really my only trainer. And he's got me to where I am today. My coaches have also invested a lot of time in me. Even some of them who've only been here for a short time, pour everything into me. And I really appreciate that. My teammates, at the end of the day, you can't score a lot of points unless they pass to you. So definitely, big shout out to them. They give me my shots, and I appreciate that a lot. That's pretty much it.
Dom, we want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your weekend to join us today, and we wish you the best of luck this year. We can't wait to talk again real soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Dom Cruz from Canfield. What a great interview that was. A great leader. And that Canfield boys basketball team, man, after 0-2, they have caught fire, and they are streaking towards glory this year. They're so good. I've seen them live a couple of times. They can score from multiple places. They have different guys that excel in different things. Their defense is so under talked about because of how good their offense can be. Their defense is so good. And do you expect anything less out of a John Cullen coach basketball team? I mean, that guy is always going to be defense first, and he's so detailed oriented. Dom talked about it in that interview. The defense usually doesn't miss anything. Like, there's nothing you can throw at him offensively that he hasn't seen before, or he's not going to be prepared for. So defensively, I think is really under talked about when you're talking about Canfield. They have a great defense, and they find ways to win games. They have found ways to win a handful of close games this year. West Branch going into overtime. Got a way to win that one. Held the Warriors, who are bigger than them by all counts, like not even close. There's a lot of big bodies in West Branch that were rebounding them to death in regulation. Overtime, not one single offensive rebound given up by Canfield's defense. So adjustments, right? Adjustments in that game. We saw them win against Fitch, held off Fitch in a 3-point victory. Impressive stuff. Canfield knows how to win. They continue to do that, and they will be one of the teams that we are going to be watching for the rest of the year. Want to thank Dom for his time. What a great interview that was. And you can find that interview in its entirety if you missed it on ysnlive.com or on our YSN YouTube page over there on the YouTube. Let's go back onto the scoreboard. Check out what's going to be going on tonight on YSN. It's boys basketball night on January 12th. Fun slate of games, and a lot of them, as you can see on the scoreboard. We will start with Hubbard traveling to Lakeview tonight. Cocker makes the trip to Ashley St. John. Hoban on the road against Benedictine. Columbiana, just like the girls last night, traveling to Southern Local in the EOAC. Conneaut goes to Lakeside. Garrettsville Garfield making a trip to Crestview. Jefferson hosting Harvey. Austintown Fitch continues conference play as they host Howland. Camel comes home game with LeBray. That'll be a big one. Both teams unbeaten so far in the MVAC. First place on the line in Camel. Wellsville hosts Latonia. East Palestine will host Lisbon. You have Edgewood hosting Madison tonight. Middle Ridge making the road trip to Western Reserve inside the Scarlet tier of the MVAC. Niles goes to Girard inside the NE8. Poland goes to Struthers. That's a big one inside that conference. Both teams with one loss in the NE8. Sebring and Lowville, they match up tonight inside the MVAC. Beaver Local will host St. Clairsville. This is homecoming night for the Beavers. Waterloo travels to Springfield. The rivalry continues as West Branch goes to Salem. Nothing better than that. Holy War and must be rivalry night because Mooney and Ursuline getting together for round one of that matchup in Youngstown. That should be a fun one between the Cardinals and the Irish. Southeast traveling to Warren JFK. We have Beaver hosting Ambridge. Valley Christian traveling to United. McDonald going to Jackson Milton. We have Mohawk hosting New Brighton. Champions, they'll host Liberty. Brookfield goes and hosts Newton Falls. East Liverpool on the road at Oakland. Pymatuning Valley at Matthews. And the last one on our scoreboard today is going to be Grand Valley at Wycliffe. Let's hop into the spreadsheet, see what announcers are going to be where, and how you can watch these games on YSN. So we'll have plenty of games on the network tonight. We do have a girls-boys doubleheader in Lisbon, Columbiana, as Lisbon versus Columbiana girls will be first, and then the boys will be after. Girls will start at 5:30. Boys will start after that, 20 minutes. So one girls basketball game on the network tonight. It is in Columbiana. I am on the wrong day. I apologize. That is next Friday. Ignore everything I just said. Boys basketball, Friday the 12th. Hubbard at Lakeview. Sam Ballas and Dick Nicholas will be on the call for that. Benedictine at Hoban. So flip those two on the scoreboard. Hoban hosting Benedictine. That one will be Ty Bartell on the call. Larry Scraggs will be in Southern for Columbiana coming to town. Tyler Hart's going to be taking care of you at Lakeside. Tony Perazio going to be at Crestview for them taking on Garrettsville Garfield. Sam Torta is going to be at Jefferson for their matchup with Harvey. I will be in Austintown Fitch for their matchup with Howland inside the AAC. Ian O'Brien going to be at Camel Memorial. Big matchup on his plate tonight between the Vikings and the Red Devils. Gary Altizer going to be in Wellsville for their matchup with Latonia. The Tigers trying to avenge a loss to the Bears earlier on in the season by 2 points in the Bears' den. Larry Jennings going to be in Edgewood for that matchup with Madison. Should be a good one down there. Chris Colucci going to Berlin Center for their matchup with Western Reserve. We have Matt Marr and Jordan Barber both going to Girard for their matchup with Niles. Poland and Struthers is going to be covered by Bob and Donna Zaney. Eric Hughes going to be on the call for Sebring and Lowville. Gary Burton and Scott Rogers going to be covering you on homecoming night in Beaver Local. Michael Janaki going to be at Springfield for their matchup with Waterloo. West Branch at Salem will be covered by Derek Rhodes. CEO DJ Yoakley going to be in Ursuline for the Holy War round 1 at 7 o'clock. Dom O'Brien will be in JFK for their matchup with Southeast. And last but not least, tomorrow, Beaver area going to be covered by the new voice, really, of the Bobcats. Noah Doty has been doing a really good job down there in Beaver for us. There is wrestling today, the Top Gun Invitational. We'll have post-game coverage of that today and tomorrow, as that is one of the big tournaments that we talked about yesterday on Wrestling Wednesday with Gary Altizer. We jump into tomorrow because you won't see us on Running Point until Monday, so let's hop on to tomorrow's scoreboard so you can see everything that's going on tomorrow on YSN. Girls basketball, Columbiana and Middle Ridge. Salem goes to Springfield. Bristol travels to LeBray. Sebring will go to Latonia. Cheney will travel to Struthers. Girard plays South Range. We talked about how big that matchup's going to be. Harvey goes to Edgewood. Warren Harding will travel to Boardman. United goes to Ursuline. Jefferson hosts Lakeside. Newton Falls hosts Chalker. You have Para-E go into Conneaut and Western Reserve with a non-conference trip to Mogador. Boys basketball tomorrow, you have Orange taking on John Marshall. Some cancellations for this. We'll update the cancellations after I get through all of them. Sebring going to Latonia. Beechwood going to Lakeside, even though that's Hudson's logo. Beaver area goes to Mohawk. That's an all YSN matchup in Pennsylvania. And Indian Creek goes to Edison. So here are the games that are canceled tomorrow, or at least moved. Girls basketball, Salem at Springfield has been moved to February 14th. And then on boys basketball, Valley Christian and Heartland originally scheduled for tomorrow. That one is going to be happening on January 15th, so that one will be on Monday for boys. And Matthews at Grand Valley, which was originally scheduled for tomorrow, that one is going to be on February 6th. Everything else on the scoreboard is happening and is good to go. And that kind of is your weekend preview. Please tune in to broadcast on ysnlive.com. ysnlive.com/live. We have a comment I'm checking on the info so I can answer this question. Right, so hold tight with me real quick. I want to make sure that I have all my ducks in a row before I answer a question in the comment section. Okay, so the question from PK Guth is the Boardman and Warren Harding game tomorrow at home? The boys are going to go to Warren Harding tonight, and the girls will have a home game against Warren Harding tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So at Boardman for the girls tomorrow, at Warren Harding tonight for the boys. So it says home. I'm assuming it's going to be home for the boys tonight, at Boardman for the girls. That's how it's going to be for this weekend. That'll do it for today's episode of Running Point. Once again, tune in to all of our action at ysnlive.com/live. That's where you can find it. I will be back on Monday from 1 to 2 to recap the weekend's action. And, man, we're going to have a fun weekend, I think. We really are. The NFL playoffs, basketball gets you appetized for it. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And we will see you all